Hey, you know what? I realized something today. That there are people out there that didn't get bullied enough, and they're still fucking nerds.
I am a nerd. Like, not the good kind. I'll go to my friends who are all nerds, just like me,
That didn't get bullied enough.
and I'm like, hey guys, you want to do the stupidest thing ever? Let's just be cheerleaders.
Fucking nerds. I wouldn't talk to these people in normal, real life.
Mr. Cheerleader, cool.
Wait a minute, like, I wish I was cool. I was never cool.
Fucking nerds. And all those people should be bullied and beaten to death.
Like that
Really?
giant nerd my entire life, yeah.
They're always bothered when they're reminded that they're nerds.
That was the funny irony of all of this. It's like, I'm just this dorky guy who's, like, I liked anime, video games.
Fucking nerds.
Dude, you're a fucking nerd. Yeah, I know. I know I am.
And all those people should be bullied and beaten to death.
I know I was a nerd because I look at me. Like, I was a skinny, frail bitch. I got it. We're all nerds.
By the way, you want a fucking nerd? There's one.
What the hell is that thing on the table behind you? Your nail polish collection? It's paint for miniatures, bigot, because I'm a giant nerd.
I'm gonna paint my models. Yeah, have fun. What a loser.
Ultra Smurfs Primaris Captain.
Stop trying to, pretend to be cool.
And I hate that. I should never be embarrassed to be a fucking nerd.
That's weird. You're not cool. We can all see you.
Hey, Nick, what are those figures over your right shoulder? Those figures are the Bandai Premier Warhammer 40K Space Marines.
Fucking nerds.
I'm a nerd, which puts me down low on the market value. Thank God I have a Lady Rackets.
Didn't get bullied enough.
Maximum nerd, okay? I used to play a game called EverQuest. If you don't know how D&D works, let me nerd you out for just a second. We're a bunch of fucking nerds.
Fucking nerds.
May you never call another man a nerd.
That's true.
And all those people should be bullied and beaten to death.
Oh, that is the Adeptus Mechanicus trilogy box set. Nerd.
Fucking nerds.
I will say I'm a total nerd.
Didn't get bullied enough.
Yeah. That's what makes me like you.
When I find out that someone's just a fucking nerd with no joy in their life, I don't want them around anymore. So, they're gone. And today I just started blocking a whole shitload of people. It's so great. Oh, so good. And they're still fucking nerds. And all those people should be bullied and beaten to death.
You guys are fucking embarrassing.
And they're still fucking nerds.
Hello, fellow nerds who should be bullied and or beaten to death. How you guys doing? You know who I am, ETTemplar, Supreme Misfit Professional Dipshit, so this is just my take on it. And Nick Ricciardo said something along the lines of something that says, I'm looking at my notes, nerd with no joy in their life. Nerds that I've known are pretty joyful. They may be depressed, they may be down on their luck, but usually they're joyful about whether it's Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Starship Troopers, interests in swords or knives, they're joyful people. So, it's, in my humble opinion, I never saw Nick Ricciardo as a nerd. I think he's more of a social chameleon. And I think because he is a degenerate, scum-bottom lawyer, I think he has this inherent ability to be a social spirit or a social specter. He moves along. He moved from the Dragon Ball Z because of Vic Mignogna's situation, right? He figured he could grift by pretending to like Dragon Ball Z. And then his next was Warhammer. You remember the dumbass Imperium of Man flag he had, like, in his room? And then, it's funny to, whoever made this clip is just so genius, because they take all this shit that he's guilty of, and then he's essentially telling himself this. So Nick Ricciardo, essentially by his own advice, wants people to bully him and or beat him to death because he says himself that he's a nerd. But this is a guy who's lashing out. This is a guy who's to the bottom of the barrel. He tried to do some weird baldocule. It's falling apart. Now he's caused a rift of derision between him and his wife, or his lover April and Kayla. And by the end of the day, in all reality, this is none of our fucking business. But a guy who says that we should be bullied and beat to death and has fucked up his life on this such a colossal scale, it's kind of rich coming from that guy. Again, this is a guy who too comes off as this high IQ individual when he literally streamed himself high out of his mind getting a gummer under a table during a stream. So this is a guy who pretends and looks down on people for their intellect and claims to be so much smarter than fucking anyone else, yet streamed his crimes and doing drugs what got him in trouble in the first place. Now that could be debatable on your libertarian status, but normally when you're doing something illicit on stream, other people can use that in a court of law, especially when you have children, and especially when one of those children ends up having been tested for ingesting cocaine. But again, to his warped mind, this is all some kind of Alex Jones level conspiracy where it's the police and it's the government's after one lonely, retarded LawTube streamer. Is such a threat to the Biden-Harris campaign that they're going to plant drugs and force his child to do cocaine and have corrupt police force kicking his door. Yeah, I'm not buying it. It's all a cope. And like most guilty people, and I'll end it here, most guilty people, you know what they do? They say it's everyone else's fault. There's some big government conspiracy about them. It's all a big... It's everyone else's fault, it's much you, right? And that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing the same. I've seen this with other family members that have been addicts, where the whole world's against them. The whole world is conspiring against them, but in reality, it's them that's fucked up their position. It's Nick Ricida that's fucked up his life, his position, and you guys aren't to blame. You nerds and you A-logs and ex-fans that are making fun of him for his stupid, fucked up behavior. It's not your fault. Nick Ricida, you should look in the mirror, because at the end of the day, that's you. You're the one that decided to squish your nuts in the Baldo and teabag your significant other, alright? That's all that, the polycule shit, the excessive drinking, cocaine use, that's on you, champ. And people making fun of you, that's not their fault. They shouldn't be bullied and beat to death for their opinions. But which is weird, because this is a guy who's a libertarian, right? A guy who says we should all have freedom of speech and speak your conscience and make fun of whoever you want. This literally states that you should be bullied and beaten to death. So it's rich coming from a guy see, this is the most colossal fuck up that I think anyone's ever witnessed. And publicly witnessed and publicly aired their colossal fuck-ups like this. And it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. Again, I unfortunately predict that we're probably going to be seeing a 24-hour mysteries or a forensic files or what do they call that? The crime, true crime situation. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. But the way how I'm witnessing and how everyone's witnessing the fall of Nick Ricida, it's not too far out of the realm of possibility here. Because if you're juggling, being a blasphemous piece of shit against Jesus Christ, having a polycule, taking up substance abuse, and just generally being a asshole, dickish person in that, you're juggling all this, at some time, you're going to drop something. And it's all going to go to crap. And we're kind of already seeing that as is, but that's just my two thoughts on Nick Ricida and him saying, nerds with no joy in their life. That's you, bud. That's not us. We're not squishing our balls in a baldo and having a polycule, you feel me? No. We have plenty of joy, all right? So that's a little bit of you telling on yourself that you've fucked up the situation. And I'll end this by saying, a redemption arc would be nice. Maybe if you recanted your blasphemous bullshit you said about Jesus Christ, and maybe if you began the road to redemption, which I think a lot of people could get behind, But right now, as is, and how you're acting and how you're saying this shit, and just being a hypocritical turd, a lot of people are applauding your downfall and laughing at you, justifiably so. That's my 2 cents from a fucking nerd in a Minecraft shirt. Anyways, see you next time. Hopefully you got a kick, or this was interesting some way. See you next time. Have a good one.